One day, Ed China was the smiling giant in orange gloves, calmly explaining how to fix a car while millions of fans followed along. The next, he was gone. No farewell, no final handshake, just a sudden silence that left the world of wheeler dealers spinning. Rumors rushed in to fill the void. Budget cuts, bitter fights, and corporate pressure. Fans wanted answers, and what they discovered was far more complicated than a simple goodbye. Because Ed didn't just leave a show, he left behind a debate about passion, profit, and the true soul of car culture. In 2003, wheeler dealers rolled onto screens with a concept that seemed almost too simple. Buy a cheap car, fix it up, sell it for a profit. But what made it magic wasn't the cars, it was the chemistry. Mike Brewer, fast-talking, deal-making, always chasing the next bargain. Ed China, towering, calm, and endlessly patient, teaching viewers how to strip brakes or rebuild engines with a steady hand and a clear explanation. From the very first season, fans noticed something different. Ed didn't just repair cars, he slowed time down. He labeled bolts, explained tools, and spoke in plain English that even a teenager in a driveway could follow. For countless viewers, it wasn't just a show, it was free education, the kind you couldn't get in school. The formula worked. By season 5, the series was airing in over 100 countries, winning viewers from Brazil to Bahrain. Each episode pulled in not just car enthusiasts, but families, students, and anyone who admired the transformation from wreck to wonder. Letters and emails poured in begging for longer repair segments, more detail, more Ed. It was a rare combination, entertainment that was also practical knowledge, and that balance, profit on one side, passion on the other, became the heartbeat of wheeler dealers. But as the cameras kept rolling and the show grew bigger, keeping that balance became harder. Because behind the garage doors, the cracks were beginning to show. By the 9th season, Wheeler Dealers was no longer a modest UK car show, it was an international hit. The next step seemed obvious. America, so the crew packed up and moved the workshop to California, chasing bigger cars, bigger audiences, and bigger profits. At first, it looked like paradise. The new shop was massive, lined with shiny lifts, and tool chests taller than a man. Classic American muscle filled the bays, Mustangs, Camaros, even DeLoreans. Sponsorship money flowed, and the production budget dwarfed the early days in Britain. But along with the money came new rules. The new network Velocity wanted faster episodes, tighter edits, and more cars in less time. Where Ed once had 10 minutes to break down a brake job, now he had 30 seconds. A full engine rebuild, reduced to a handful of quick shots, and a voiceover. For Ed, the teaching was the soul of the show. For the producers, speed was king. They wanted action, not explanations. Brewer tried to balance both sides, shaking hands with sponsors while supporting his longtime co-host. But the tension was clear. Fans noticed too. Online forums lit up with complaints. Why so rushed? Where's the detail? The heart of the show, learning how to fix alongside Ed, was being trimmed away piece by piece. And while ratings stayed strong, Ed knew something vital was slipping. Every cutscene was another page torn from his guidebook, and soon he decided he couldn't accept it any longer. On March 21, 2017, Ed China uploaded a video to his YouTube channel. Just 6 minutes long, it carried a title no one expected, "I'm Leaving Wheeler Dealers." There were no gimmicks, no stunts, just Ed sitting at a desk, orange gloves resting nearby, speaking directly to the camera. His message was simple: the new bosses wanted shorter repair scenes, and he refused to strip the teaching from the show. "It's not the direction I can support," he said calmly. The impact was instant. Within an hour, the video spread across Facebook, car blogs, and online forums. By lunchtime, it was trending worldwide. Fans shared clips, circled quotes, and debated what it really meant. Some praised Ed for standing by his principles. Others demanded answers from Mike Brewer. The clip wasn't angry, but it was firm. Ed thanked Mike, praised the fans, and even wished the network well. Yet the subtext was clear. The very thing that made Wheeler Dealers special was being sacrificed for speed. Viewers felt betrayed. For years they'd tuned in not just to watch cars get flipped, but to learn, to take notes, and to feel capable of fixing their own cars. Now the teacher was gone, and fans wanted someone to blame. The storm was just beginning. Because while Ed left with dignity, Mike Brewer was about to walk into the backlash of his life. The anger hit Mike Brewer almost immediately. Within hours of Ed's announcement, social media turned toxic. Fans called Brewer a sellout, accusing him of letting the network destroy the heart of the show. The criticism escalated quickly, beyond disappointment, into threats. Mike tried to defend himself. He tweeted that he had fought for Ed, begged producers to keep the long repair scenes, and still considered him a brother. But the message was drowned in hate. Some fans sent cruel messages to his family, even targeting his teenage daughter. Brewer later admitted he feared for his safety, contacting police after receiving threats at his home. Ed, shocked by the backlash, stepped in to defend his friend. He publicly told fans not to attack Mike, and reminded them that Brewer had always supported him. But the wildfire was already raging. Online mobs don't cool down easily, and for months the shadow of that split followed Mike everywhere. Meanwhile, the network scrambled to steady the ship. Sponsors grew nervous, worried that the show's reputation might collapse. To reassure fans, they announced a new mechanic, Anstead, a young, energetic builder with a TV-ready smile. The gamble was clear: keep the show alive, even if half the audience was still mourning Ed's departure. But would fans accept a replacement, or would Wheeler Dealers forever be tied to the man in orange gloves? Anstead entered the workshop with big shoes to fill. A former police officer turned car builder, Ant was charismatic, funny, and fast with a wrench. His arrival marked a new chapter, and the first episode with him featured a gleaming blue Mustang. Ant dove in with energy, swapping gearboxes and spraying paint with lightning speed. Some viewers loved it. The pace was exciting, the builds dramatic, and Ant's charm undeniable. Ratings held steady, proof that the format could survive. But not everyone was convinced. Loyal fans who once paused the screen to copy Ed's careful steps now complained, "Where's the detail? How did he align that clutch?" The divide was clear. New audiences enjoyed the flash. Long-time viewers felt cheated, missing the depth and slow walkthroughs that made Ed irreplaceable. Ant did his best to bridge the gap, even filming extra clips to post online with deeper explanations. Some made it to YouTube, but most never saw the light of day. Meanwhile, Mike worked hard to hype the new duo, praising Ant's skills and teasing bigger builds. Yet every social post still carried one phrase: "Bring back Ed." Ant himself joked that he was the most loved and hated mechanic on TV. Off camera though, the pressure was crushing. The cars kept rolling in, and the show stayed alive. But for many fans, it never felt quite the same. And while Brewer and Anstead kept the brand moving, Ed was quietly preparing something of his own. After leaving Wheeler Dealers, Ed China slipped into the background. For 4 years he made only rare appearances at car shows or charity events. Fans constantly asked, where did he go? The answer arrived in 2021. That year, Ed launched his own YouTube series, Ed China's Workshop Diaries. The first episode was everything fans had missed. No rushed edits, no producers with stopwatches, just Ed, a kettle whistling in the background, and a tired Range Rover waiting for his attention. He greeted viewers like old friends, rolled up his sleeves, and took his time. Every bolt came off in real time. Every seal got a close-up. When things got complicated, Ed sketched diagrams on a whiteboard, explaining concepts in simple terms. It felt like Wheeler Dealers in its purest form, but now 100% under his control.
The projects grew bolder. One week he revived a 1960s electric milk float. The next, he rebuilt the record-breaking motorized sofa that once roared through London streets. Fans loved it, and the comments flooded with gratitude. "I can finally see the whole job again." By the 10th episode, his channel had passed 500,000 subscribers. Support came from ads, Patreon backers, and merchandise sales. And most importantly, Ed set his own pace. No deadlines, no compromises, just cars and craftsmanship. Meanwhile, wheeler dealers kept rolling with Ant, but fans began to wonder, would Ed and Mike's paths ever cross again? By 2023, the dust from Ed's departure had mostly settled. Wheeler Dealers was still airing, now with a new mechanic, Mark Priestley, while Ed's YouTube channel thrived. Yet fans never stopped speculating about a reunion. It started with whispers. A car blog claimed Ed might return for a special episode. Reddit threads buzzed with supposed sightings of Ed meeting producers at Goodwood. Then, at the 2024 NEC Classic Motor Show, both Ed and Mike appeared on the same stage for the first time in 7 years. They didn't work together, but they exchanged a smile backstage. A photo of that moment exploded on Twitter. Not long after, Mike tweeted Ed a simple birthday message. "Have a great one, mate. Hope to share a brew soon." Ed liked it with a thumbs up emoji. Small gestures, but for longtime fans, they were everything. In interviews, both men avoided closing the door. Mike often said, "Never say never." Ed, during a live stream, grinned when asked if he'd return. "Only if we can show every nut and bolt." Not a yes, but certainly not a no. The rumors kept coming: a reunion road trip, an EV conversion series, even a charity build. Most fizzled out, but the hope never died. For fans, the dream of one more handshake remained alive. Because in the world of car culture, anything can happen when the engines are still warm. When the smoke cleared, two paths stretched out. Mike Brewer continued building Wheeler Dealers into a faster, lighter TV product, keeping dozens of crew members employed and audiences entertained worldwide. Ed China, meanwhile, built his own independent workshop, prioritizing detail, teaching, and complete creative control. Both choices came with sacrifices. Mike endured years of backlash and pressure from sponsors, shouldering the responsibility of keeping the show alive. Ed gave up steady TV fame, trading it for a slower, less predictable YouTube career. Yet both paths were valid, two sides of the same coin. At its core, the split highlighted a bigger debate: passion versus profit. How much authenticity can you cut before something loses its soul? Fans proved they cared about both. Some wanted fast flips and entertainment, others craved slow teaching and depth. And both audiences showed loyalty, following Mike to TV and Ed to YouTube. Together, their stories reveal something powerful. When passion drives content, people will follow, no matter the platform. So will there ever be a reunion? Maybe, maybe not. Money can make things happen, but trust matters more. If Ed and Mike ever find the right balance, time for every nut and bolt, respect for every budget sheet, the famous handshake could return. Until then, two versions of the same dream roll forward, one chasing speed, the other chasing perfection. And the choice of which road matters most, that's parked right in front of the viewer.